This is the fourth part of biomolecule NCERT, NEET and NTS syllabus prescribed for the entrance examination, okay, medical entrance examination. So in this video I am going to explain the structure of the sugar, that is the carbohydrate, nitrogen bases and primary and secondary metabolites. Okay, so let us begin. Sugar. The sugars are sweet and water soluble carbohydrate. So this is the carbohydrate and is a simple sugar, or it is a monosaccharide that is soluble in water and it has a sweet taste. Okay, and they are formed of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and the ratio of the carbon, hydrogen and oxygen in this carbohydrate or sugar is 1:2:1. That means 1 part carbon, 2 part hydrogen and 1 part oxygen. Okay, so one of the simple sugar, that is the glucose, it can be written structural formula, that is the C6H12O6. Okay, and the structure is like this. It is the hexagonal shape with CH2 with oxygen present here, and from that on the left side start the first carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon and fifth carbon, this one CH2OH attached with the CH2OH. So that is the glucose. Okay, and similarly a pentose sugar, that is the ribose or the C5H10O5. Here oxygen, and then on the left this is the first carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon and fifth carbon is present outside the ring, that is the CH2OH. So this is the sugar structure of the sugar. Now let us see nitrogen bases. Okay, what is actually nitrogen bases? These are the nitrogen containing cyclic compound found in the nucleic acid. Nucleic acid means DNA and RNA. Both DNA and RNA having cyclic compound that containing nitrogen is known as the nitrogen bases. Okay, and these nitrogen bases are classified into two types, that is the purine and pyrimidine. Okay, the purine are double ringed structure and having two bases, that is the adenine and guanine. Adenine is notated as A and guanine is notated as G. Okay, and pyrimidine are cytosine, thymine and uracil. Cytosine representing C, thymine representing T and uracil representing C. Out of this, the purine, adenine and guanine is present both in the DNA and RNA, but out of the three pyrimidine, cytosine and thymine present in the DNA and thymine is absent in the RNA, but instead of thymine, uracil will be present. So the purine is the double ringed structure. See here, this is the benzene with a pentose structure and having alternate nitrogen and ammonia, and again ammonia on the pentose, and similarly the pyrimidine is a single ringed structure with ammonia and oxygen. Okay, so that is the uracil. This is uracil, and another example is the adenine. Nucleosides and nucleotide. You know, nucleotide is the unit of the DNA and RNA. That means the DNA and RNA strand is formed by polymerization of the nucleotides. So what is the difference between nucleoside and nucleotides? You know, nucleoside is a combination of the nitrogen base and pentose sugar. The pentose sugar may be ribose or it may be deoxyribose. You know, ribose is in the RNA and deoxyribose in the DNA. Okay, so there are 4 different type of nitrogen base. So naturally there are 4 different type of nucleosides. So what are the different type of nucleosides? One of the nucleotide is the adenine nitrogen base and pentose sugar, that forming the adenosine. Okay, so this is the adenosine, and the adenosine have a pentose sugar with the adenine, and adenine phosphate is not present. Okay, and then guanine along with the pentose sugar, that forming the guanosine, and cytosine along with the pentose sugar forming the cytidine, not cytosine. Okay, thymine with the pentose sugar forming the thymidine, not thymosin. Uracil plus pentose sugar forming uridine. So these are the 4 different type of the nucleosides. Okay, and this nucleoside when combined with a phosphate group, and forming the nucleotides. That is, nucleotides means nitrogen base plus pentose sugar plus a phosphate, additional phosphate group, then forming that is known as a nucleotide. Okay, so adenine plus sugar plus phosphate forming the adenylate acid. Similarly, guanine plus sugar plus phosphate forming the guanylic acid, and similarly cytosine plus sugar plus phosphate forming cytidyllic acid, and thiamine plus sugar plus phosphate forming thiamidyllic acid, and uracil plus sugar plus phosphate forming uridylic acid. Okay, so there are 4 different type of nucleoside. Automatically there are 4 different type of the nucleotides. So these are the 4 different type of nucleosides. These are 4 different type of the nucleosides. This is the adenosine and this is the uridine. Both are the nucleosides. When these nucleosides combine with the additional phosphate, then forming nucleotides. Primary and secondary metabolite. So before that, what is actually metabolite? Metabolite means it is the product of the chemical reaction during the metabolism. Okay, so and these metabolites are organic compounds that take part in metabolism. So metabolites are organic compound that take part in metabolism. For example, like glucose converting into pyruvic acid, and first forming the glucose 6-phosphate. So glucose 6-phosphate is a metabolite. Okay, then it converting into fructose 6-phosphate, that is another metabolite. Then converting into fructose 1,6-diphosphate, that is another metabolite. So through the many metabolite, it finally converting into the metabolite pyruvic acid. So that is the metabolites are organic compound that take part in the metabolism. Okay, and these metabolites are classified basically into 2 types, that is the primary metabolite and a secondary metabolite. So what is the main difference between primary metabolite and a secondary metabolite? Then we will take some example for that. Primary metabolite means these metabolites have a definite function in physiological process, and that is very essentially necessary for the life. So for example, glucose. And glucose is essentially necessary for the life because it is the source of energy. Okay, then amino acid, it is essentially necessary because it is the building block of the protein. Without a protein, life cannot sustain. And similarly, lipids also. So vitamins, hormones, all these are essentially necessary for the existence of the life, and such a type of the metabolite is known as the primary metabolite. So primary metabolite means those metabolite which are having definite function in the body. Without that, life cannot sustain. That is known as the primary metabolite. Some example is that amino acids, sugars, nucleic acid, vitamins, hormones, etc. Okay, and without these metabolite, life cannot maintain. Okay, then secondary metabolite. What is actually secondary metabolite? These metabolites have no direct involvement in the normal growth and development or the reproduction. They are producing, but that is not directly involved in the maintaining the life or the growth and development and the reproduction of the organism. For example, pigments. Carotenoids, anthocyanin. It is present in the plant, but it is not essentially necessary for the growth and development and reproduction. Alkaloids, morphine and codeine. Their use, we extract the use of this morphine and codeine that is not directly involved in the normal functioning of the plant's life. Okay, like that terpenoid, like monoterpenoid, diterpenoid, etc. That is also not essentially necessary for the maintaining the life of the plant. Some of the plant having oils, for example, lemongrass oil, coconut oil, or the sunflower oil. These oils are not essentially necessary for the growth and development of the plant. So it is known as secondary metabolite. Some toxins like abrim and resins that is present in the plant body, but that is not essentially necessary for the maintaining the life of the plant. Lectins, concanavalin A. It is a very important medicine that is using for the human benefit, but that is not a benefit, that is not essentially necessary for the maintaining the life of the plant. So it is the secondary metabolite. Some drugs like viniblastin and curcumin, that is not essentially necessary for the plant, but it is present there, and we using that for some of the disease, curing some of the disease. Okay, and some polymeric substance like rubber, gum, cellulose, etc. that is not essentially necessary that is present in the plant, but we using this product for some human benefit. So these are the secondary metabolite that is not essentially necessary for the maintaining the life of the plant, that is secondary metabolite. So that is the difference between primary metabolites and secondary metabolites.